Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about how to avoid stalemate when you're up material. So let's get started. In this position, black's pawn just went here, and the question is, what should white do in this position? Now, to avoid stalemate, you need to ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to move? The most obvious move is to just capture the pawn. But again, if you take this pawn, where is black going to move? Notice what squares you are controlling that are next to this king. This rook right now is controlling b7 and a7, and that's next to black's king. Also notice that this pawn is controlling a5, and this pawn on c5 is also controlling the b6 square. So the question is, if we do take this pawn, then where is he going to move? Black's pawns cannot move, so we know this. If we take this pawn, it's going to be stalemate. What happens if we move the pawn up to h4? Then that's going to be stalemate too. So again, to avoid stalemate by accident, you must ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to move? That's how you avoid stalemate, okay? So in this position, what I would probably do is I would probably check, and then that's checking the king. Black's king could maybe go to b7, and then I would definitely take this pawn, and then black's king can go here, and then this rook can go here, and then this king can't take this rook because of this pawn. And then this should be an easy win because this pawn can just continue to go forward. Also, if you like watching my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, I invite you to buy me a coffee too to support my channel. So the pawn continues to go up, and then pawn goes here. Always ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to do? The king goes here, and then this should be an easy checkmate. We're just forcing the king on the edge. So if the king goes here, then the rook can go here, and then that's checkmate. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you another example. Beginners tend to promote lots of pawns to queens. So in this position, it is white to move, and white has 3 queens, one on a8, another queen on h8, and also another one on b8. So again, the key of not stalemating your opponent by accident is asking, if I move here, where is my opponent going to do? So an easy way to avoid stalemate, if you have a lot of queens, is if you move the queens closer to your opponent's king, and if it's a check, then that's good, and it's going to eventually lead to checkmate. So there's many ways that we can attack black's king in this position. So first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and move this queen over to c8. And the other tip is, you know that if you move one of your pieces and if it checks your opponent's king, you know that it's not gonna be stalemate. It's impossible to stalemate your opponent if you move one of your pieces to check the king. So I'm gonna go ahead and go here, and now the queen is checking the king, and then let's say that the king goes here now. So again, we want to move the queens closer to this king until it's checkmate. And when you move the queens closer to the king, it must be a check. Of course, you can move the queen closer to the king without check, but if you want to go down that path, then you must ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to do? If you can answer that, then that would be good. So I'm going to go ahead and move this queen over here. So I just moved the queen closer, and then now it's his turn. So let's say that the king goes here now. Okay, so again, we want to move the queen closer to this king, and it should be a check, because if you can do that, it's going to eventually become checkmate. Okay, so this queen is really far away from this king, and this queen is pretty far away from this king too. So I'm going to go ahead and move this queen. It doesn't matter which queen you use, but I'm going to go ahead and just go all the way over here, and it checks the king. The king can't capture this queen because of these two queens here. Okay, so let's say that I go here now. Okay, so again, the key is you want to move the queens closer to the king with check. Again, if you do move the queen closer to the king, and if it's not a check, then you are risking to get a stalemate, and that's not good. But the key is you want to ask, if I move here, where is my opponent going to do? That's really, really important. So in this position, I want to move the king, I want to move the queen closer to this king. Those two queens pretty close to this king. I am going to go ahead and then go here. And then that's a checkmate. Since I have many queens, there could be other ways to do checkmate. If you don't want to calculate, then you can also move this queen here. Again, I would encourage you to consider all checks and try to find the checkmate in one. But I know that beginners tend sometimes they miss the checkmate in one. But if you find the checkmate in one, great. If you don't, you want to still just use my advice. Just move the queen closer to this king. So this queen is checking the king. The king has to go here, or it can also go here. And then again, same concept. Let's move the queen closer to the king, and it must be check. So go here, and then that's a checkmate. So I hope that this is making sense. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another example. So in this position, it is white to move, and white is up a queen, also a rook and bishop. So white has an easy win, but of course, white doesn't want to do stalemate, of course. So I think the most obvious move here is to just promote the pawn to a queen. I'm going to go ahead and know the position, get a queen, and then now it is his turn. So the king, can go to these squares. So let's say that the king goes here now. Okay, so same concept again is we have you want to move the queen closer to the king, and it must be check. Okay, so let's move this queen over here, and it's a check, so that is good. And let's say that the king goes here now. Okay, if that's the case, then we want to move the queen closer to the king. So this queen is really far away from this king. So remember, when we move the queen, it must be check. So we notice that the queen can go here and do check. And that actually happens to be checkmate. So I hope that this video made sense to you. So again, the easiest way to checkmate your opponent is just moving the queens closer to your king. Move your queens closer to your opponent's king. And it should be check. And you know that if you check your opponent's king, you know that you can't accidentally stalemate your opponent. And of course, you should double check like it, yeah. And so when you're continuing to move pieces, you should always ask, like, if I move here, where is my opponent gonna deal? That's really, really important. Let me know what you thought about this video by commenting below. And if you like watching my videos, please subscribe to my channel. And I invite you to buy me a coffee. That would be great. Thanks for watching.